Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Fatima. I am a 29-year-old millennial living in the beautiful desert of Las Vegas, Nevada with my husband and our 4 kitty cats. And today we're going to be recapping my September budget. I'm really excited to get into this because I have some great news, but we're going to wait till the end. So let's start screen recording. Let me know if you guys like this editing format. I'm going to be putting a lot of the information on here as well as making myself smaller in a little box, but let me know what you guys prefer. I like to do a variety of both in some of my videos, and it just depends on time. So let's get right into my September breakdown. I'm gonna start off with what we currently have left to spend and left to budget. We have left to spend $389.93 and left to budget we have $588.13. I honestly felt like September was a very expensive month because we did traveling, but it really wasn't. It was not too bad, honestly. I did have some family come over and we hosted them, and that was great. And it was a pretty inexpensive activity. We did Halloween diamond painting. I have been wanting to do diamond paintings for a while. We didn't finish them because it's a lot of little diamonds and tiny little squares. So I'm gonna be finishing mine on my own time. I have yet to finish it, so I might just do a little Halloween activity on my own, finishing my own diamond painting. But that was a really inexpensive activity that we did. We did do a lot of eating out, and we also traveled, but the trip was paid for in August, and because it was an all-inclusive travel, we really didn't spend any money when we went out of the country. We went to Cancun for a couple of days and did an all-inclusive resort, which was so much fun. Overall, September was a great month. We actually had some money remaining at the end, and we're gonna be able to add that amount into our sinking funds. Let's look at our overall numbers. So income, bills, expenses, investments, and savings, all of that good stuff. We're gonna start with income. So the budget amount for income was $8,792.40, but the actual amount was $8,954.84. Let's look at the income numbers. So right here for income, my corp income was exact, right on track with the budget amount, $8,202.90. We did do some Facebook Marketplace selling, so that was $120 that came in. 401k employer match was good, and HSA employer match was good as well. Those are numbers that really don't change unless I increase my percentage. Then I also got paid out for surveys, $8.84. Oh, and there was interest earned in a couple of our accounts, $31.20. for a total of $8,954.84. Bills and expenses, the budgeted amount was $5,051.50, but the actual spent amount was $4,661.57. So that's pretty good. We are under the budgeted amount, which is great. We'd love to see that. Investments, the budget amount was $1,503.90, and actual spent amount was $1,511.92. A little bit higher than last month because I really just copy a lot of my investment numbers over to the new month, and then I add on if I'm gonna invest into our IRA or just anywhere else. For savings, the budget amount was $0. And there's an actual amount of $3.73, but I think that's interest that came in that I'm just allocating into my vacation sinking fund. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, but by the end of this video, I hope that we are able to throw a good chunk amount into savings. And debt paid nothing because we are debt free. Now, as you guys can see, there is nothing that I put down for financial goals and nothing for wealth affirmations. When I started my September budget, I think I was in a hurry. I was gonna make a September budget with me video, but it had already been a couple of days. I think it had already been 2 weeks. So I felt like it was kind of pointless to make a video, so I was in a little bit of a hurry. I had already been keeping track of my spending, so I was really good on that. I was using my transaction sheet and I was looking at the numbers, and as they were raising, I'm like, okay, I really need to sit down and I need to finish my budget, or just start my budget and finish it. So I really didn't have time to make a video, especially because we were doing a lot of traveling prep. I still had to pack, and I was preparing for fall, preparing for our future guests that we were going to be hosting. So there was a lot that I was doing in September. So nothing went into my monthly financial goals and my wealth affirmations. I honestly don't like to do that when I feel like I'm gonna have an intense, busy month. And that's because I'm thinking about my goals and I'm not thinking about the month overall and how I want it to be a successful month. I think that sometimes it's okay to not have goals, and sometimes it is great to have goals. I guess you can call me a buy mood person. I'm trying to look at it as a mood reader, but instead a moody goaler. That's terrible. Anyways, based on my mood, we're gonna work on goals or we're not gonna work on goals. We're gonna have wealth affirmations or we're not gonna have wealth affirmations. I think for October, I do want to definitely add some goals and a couple of wealth affirmations, but for September, that didn't happen. So let's look at my pre-tax deductions. So for pre-tax deductions, everything was good. Medical, dental, vision, taxes, everything was also good on there. For Social Security, Medicare, and federal taxes, there's always a difference in negative from one month to another. So I've noticed it's always in Medicare. 1 month is a penny more, 1 month is a penny less. It's really weird. So I'm starting to realize that. So I think next month it's gonna be a penny more, I think. All right, let's go over investments. So for investments, they were all the same. There's actually a little bit of a difference in my 401k and my 401k match. And that's because I got a raise, and I talked about this in my last budget breakdown video, I think. So I did get a small little raise, and with that small little raise, the amount going into my 401k and my employer match does go up a slight bit. All right, and then savings, there's really nothing going on there. We just have $3.73 that went into our vacation sinking fund. And once more, that's from our interest. So what I do on my transaction sheet, I tend to count it as interest, and then I also allocate it to wherever it needs to go to. Sometimes I forget to do the counting it as interest, but it's okay because I'm already gonna allocate it into my vacation sinking fund. Now let's go over our bills and expenses. For bills, our bills were pretty spot on. We did have a higher water and gas bill than last month. I don't even know why I budgeted $50. That just doesn't make sense. Our water has been pretty high up there, so I do need to reach out to the property management team because I swear I think there's something wrong with our sprinklers. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe we just use a lot of water, which is not a good thing because we are in the desert. So I definitely want to try to get that bill a lot lower. I think for this month, or last month, or like mid last month, mid this month, it was like $90. So I do really want to try our best to reduce that. Our gas bill is never really that much. I think that gas in Nevada is just pretty cheap because we do cook a lot. We rarely go out to eat. We cook quite often. For sure, we cook dinner every single night. I cook myself breakfast every single afternoon, not morning, because I don't eat in the mornings. Electricity was actually a little bit lower than last month. Our electricity in this house, not new house, but in this house is so much cheaper during the summer than our electricity ever was at the apartment. And I expect it to get even lower now that we're getting into the cold season here in Nevada. Cell phone. So for cell phone, I did budget pretty high up there. I budgeted $308.52, and we only spent $154.26, which is really great. I ended up doing a special plan, and because I did the special plan and kind of committed to this plan, I was able to get a really nice deal where my line ended up being free and I only had to pay for my husband's, my mom, and my dad. Internet, the same, no changes there. Life insurance, subscriptions, no changes. The one big bulk sum that we do see here on the bottom is my yearly subscription. We had two. We had our Costco membership. I count that as a subscription, as a yearly subscription. So it was $130. It went up in price $10. And then I also bought a subscription for my planner. So I bought an Artful Agenda planner subscription, and I do not regret it. I absolutely love it. I use it like every single day. It's awesome. So now let's go into my category expenses. We're gonna start off with housing. We are seeing green here. So I did make sure to budget a good amount for household items because I wanted to get a couple more decorations. I wanted to also, I think I got a new duvet last month. We're already in October, so I'm trying to remember what happened in September. So I did get some bedding, as well as some other things here and there. I went thrifting. So it's definitely more of a little bit more seasonal for Halloween, going into fall, going into Christmas. So I wanted to make sure that I gave myself enough to make sure that I didn't go over budget, and we did pretty good. We are actually under a difference of $12.71. For toiletries, I knew that there was going to be a good amount of bulk sum to toiletries that we had to buy because we had to do like a stock up, and I gave myself 100, so a difference of $12.11 in the green. So that's pretty good. So the total amount budgeted for this category for housing was $300. And the total spent was $275 with 18 cents, and that's in the green, $24 with 82 cents. Let's go into transportation. So for transportation, I did budget $50 for gas for the month. I knew that we weren't going to be traveling to anywhere, California. I mean, we did travel out of the country, but that's totally different, and we were gonna have a pretty chill month other than the out of the country travel, so $50 was way more than enough. We had a difference of $14.21 left over. And then for gas expenses, I did budget $50 because I knew I had to change my filters. I just wasn't too sure how much both the engine and the other filter were gonna cost me, so I was in the green, $23.08. And then let's go over the total amount. So I budgeted within transportation $100, only spent $62 with 71 cents. So a positive difference of $37 with 29 cents. Groceries and eating out. So for groceries, we budgeted $600, but we only spent $472 with 93 cents. So that's pretty good, but keep in mind, we were out of the country for like 5 days. So the difference is a positive of $127 with 7 cents. Eating out, $180. I normally budget, I think $125 or $150 for eating out, but I knew that there was going to be a couple of things that I was going to eat out for, and then Dylan was going to go with me to eat out with his family members that came to visit us. So we knew that we were going to spend a little bit more, so I budgeted $180, and the actual spent was $159 with 96 cents, a difference of $20.04 in the positive. So that's pretty good. I'm just so happy we're seeing so much green because lately I've been seeing a lot of red, and that gives me really bad anxiety. So the totals for groceries and eating out, our budgeted amount was $780, but our actual spent amount was $632 with 89 cents, with a positive difference of $147 with 11 cents. Next category, personal, pets, health, and fitness. So for personal, I always budget $150 for Dylan and I, so $150 for me, but I went over. So the actual spent amount was $198 with 34 cents, with a difference of a negative $48 with 34 cents. That's all I'm gonna say about that section. That's all. Dylan never spends any money. 150, as you guys can see, and the positive, 150. For our kitty cats, it was a higher spending month than usual. I always budget 116 for our kitty cats, and the actual spent amount for September was 127 with 44 cents. So we went over $11 with 44 cents. I didn't account for their water filters. Had I accounted for their water filters, we wouldn't have been over. I didn't realize that we were all out. Yeah, that's an oopsie on my part. For beauty, I budgeted $75, went over $9 with 48 cents. So the actual spent amount was $84 with 48 cents. For healthcare, I budgeted $30. The actual spent amount was $16 with 79, so we were in the positive $13 with 21 cents. And for gym, $25.04. Actual spent was $25 with 4 cents. So the overall total of this category, so personal pets, health, and fitness, the overall budgeted total amount was $546 with 4 cents. But the actual spent amount was $452 with 9 cents, giving us a difference of $93.95. So the overall category amount, we were still in positive, even though there's 3 negative categories. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. For fun, I budgeted $100, but our actual spent amount was $85 with 97 cents. So a positive and difference of $14.03. So yay, we didn't go over our fun, which is great because I knew how much the diamond painting was gonna be, but I really was kind of winging it on the fun. I was just hoping, please don't go over $100. And for travel, we budgeted $200 and we spent $208. And this was more me than Dylan. Actually, it was, I think, all me. There's a couple of travel things that I needed. I've actually been needing and delaying on buying them. Like, for example, my makeup bag, it was just falling apart. I needed a new makeup bag. I had my makeup bag since like we moved to Hawaii, which was years ago. So there was a difference of -8 cents. Okay, so fun and travel budget amount total was $300. Actual spent amount was $286 with 5 cents, giving us a difference of $13.95. Business expenses. So for business expenses, we only have our Canva that we budgeted for, which was $12.99. But there was one thing I did not budget for, and that is a reselling that I want to do. It's such a cool concept. You basically go in and there are stalls, like rectangular, pretty decently big stalls, and there's a bunch of them. There's like, I don't know, I want to say maybe like over 20 of the stalls. They do have a separate section that are not stalls, and they're just like regular shelving. But anyways, each stall is rented by a person, and that person can sell on that stall. It's consignment, but every stall is different. It's amazing. I really love it. I actually really enjoy going to that thrift store because I find some really great items for pretty affordable prices. I've already gotten a good amount of clothing from there, and I am not a clothing person. I hate shopping for clothes. Dylan actually loves shopping for clothes. We can go to Ross and be in there for like an hour, and he'll come out with like one thing or nothing, but he has the time of his life in there. I hate it. I hate looking for clothes, but at this place I had so much fun. I actually found the cutest romper too, and I already wore it and I absolutely love it, as well as some very cute sweaters and just some awesome fits. I decided that I want to give my go at selling clothes that I've honestly never used, and I want to see if I can find some good items at other thrift stores that I know are a little bit cheaper than this thrift store, because some of these clothing items are brand items, so it does tend to be a little bit higher than your regular thrift store. So I do want to see if I can make a little business out of this, and maybe also sell a couple of things that I want to crochet, as well as a couple of crafts that I want to do. So we'll see how that goes. So the stall, I had to pay $36.75. If I don't make that amount back when I do have my stall ready and active and ready to go. My stall isn't going to be ready for me to basically go live with until December. That's how busy they are. They did not have an available stall until December 21st, and I booked this a week and a half ago. So I'll get that money back, $36.75, if I don't make that amount within the week that I have the stall rented out. So pretty cool concept. I'm really excited to give this a go, see if it works out, see if I can get into consignment or just learn about the world of consignment. I definitely am gonna do a lot more research. I'm gonna go on Pinterest to see what I can keep my eye out when I'm thrifting. The business expense category total was $12.99. So this was the total budgeted amount, but the actual spent amount was $49.74. So a difference of negative $36.75. Next category is gifts and donations. So for gifts, I budgeted $100. The actual spent amount was $88.36, a difference of $11.64. For donations, I did budget some for donations, $50, but the only actual spent amount was $26.01, a difference of $23.99 in positive. The totals for gifts and donations was $150 for the budgeted amount, but the actual spent amount was $114.37, so a difference of $35.63 in the positive. And lastly, we have other. So for other, the only one that we went over was my miscellaneous category, which was $9.63, which is actually kind of funny because I always budget $10 into miscellaneous, literally always. And this one month I didn't, and I think it's because I was in a hurry when I made this budget. Yeah, so $9.63, budget amount was $0, spent amount was $9.63, negative that amount. And that's pretty much it for my bills and expenses. Now let's go into my last section of my budget breakdown, which is my monthly money reflections. What went well this month? What were my money wins? Honestly, the biggest thing that went well was our spending. We spent within our means and were able to spend less than our budgeted amounts. So we spent within our means and were able to spend less than our budgeted amounts. So that's definitely a really big money win. And because of that, we are able to throw a good chunk of money into our immigration sinking fund. So let's add that. I had almost forgotten how much it was going to be. So definitely check out the short. I'll have it up here. And basically, I just like to prepare before every paycheck, pay off my credit cards. Before every paycheck, I pay off my credit cards. So I basically pay off the credit cards twice a month. It just helps me stay organized. I know that some people might think that's weird, but for me, it just makes sense. And I purposely have my credit cards due on the 15th and the 16th, because then that way they're really close to each other, so then that way I can pay them off comfortably while I'm preparing my paycheck for the rest of the month or the rest of the week or whatever I'm doing. So we're able to add $782.14, which is great. That's like a really great amount because we're gonna be spending close to like $3,000, maybe $3,500 on my adjustment of status application. So I did create an immigration sinking fund just to help me stay accountable and make sure that I'm not going to be pulling from our two emergency funds. To our immigration sinking fund. Another money win was that we did not go over our traveling, or we did 8 cents. Was that a money win? I'm gonna put we did well with travel spending. I think that's a money win. All right, what didn't go well this month? I went over my personal budgeted amount. So that definitely didn't go well. I'm not proud of that. You know what? I'm gonna add my personal and beauty budgeted amount. What else didn't go well this month? I don't know, I feel like overall, regardless of the personal and the beauty budgeted amounts that did not go very well, I feel like overall September went really well. We stayed within our means. We are able to throw a good chunk into our sinking fund. I mean, we didn't put anything into investments, and that was on purpose because right now the main focus is that immigration sinking fund. Once I get that immigration sinking fund to where I need it to be, I can then focus on our Christmas sinking fund because we have $0 in our Christmas sinking fund. And if we're not at our goal for our Christmas sinking fund, then I've already talked to Dylan about it, and I told him nobody's gonna get a gift. If we don't reach our goal, we're just not giving gifts out for Christmas this year. And those are just decisions that you really need to make depending on what you're prioritizing for your life. Not only do I need to focus on my immigration sinking fund, but I also need to figure out what I'm gonna do about my insurance because that's coming up due in November, and that's gonna be like $1,200. I definitely don't want to pull that from our emergency fund. If I need to, I will, but I don't want to do it. So those are two of my main focuses right now. So even though we didn't invest, I wouldn't call it something that didn't go well this month. It's just being mindful about where your money is going, and that's where budgeting becomes so personal. It's different for everybody, right? And last question is, what can I improve and work on for next month? Obviously, spending less or right on track with my personal and beauty amount. So let's put that. Yeah, so that's something I feel like I'm always working on. I will admit I am the spender in the relationship. I really am. He is not a spender at all. So it's definitely something that I struggle with, and sometimes I feel really, really guilty about it, but other times I look back at it and I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I deserved it. And we're not in debt, so I'm not like going crazy over my personal amount where I'm spending like $500. And we have an agreement, Dylan and I, that if we're gonna spend anything over $200, we need to communicate with each other about it. And even then, when I'm gonna spend money on one thing that's even over $100, I always tell him, I let him know. I ask for his opinions and his thoughts. I ask him if it's worth it, just because in that way I keep myself accountable as well when I'm spending money, and I'm not just spending money to spend money. So that's definitely something that I want to continue to work on, and hopefully we'll do better. We'll do better. Let's actually include our car insurance and immigration sinking fund goals. Prepare for car insurance renewal. So add money to car insurance sinking fund. Actually, I'm not going to put anything about the immigration sinking fund because we're already adding about $700 into that. I think I'm just going to leave it as car insurance sinking fund being something that we need to work on for next month, which is already this month, October. And I think I could do it. I think I could figure out whether I need to go into my sinking funds and maybe pull money from other sinking funds here and there that are not highly prioritized and just throw it at our car insurance sinking fund and get the total that I need. I think we have a tiny bit amount right now in our car insurance sinking fund. Let me actually double check. Oh, we have nothing. We have zero. I don't know if that's right though. I have to double check. Because I swear I remember transferring money over not too long ago, and it might just be that I haven't added the amount into my transactions sheet. It might just be that I need to add it, and I did it already on my Ally account. I'll definitely have to check that out, see if we do have any amount in our car insurance sinking fund. If we do, I'll put it right here for you guys. We definitely need to work on that for next month. Maybe take a little break from immigration sinking fund this October and focus this month on just getting that car insurance sinking fund to where it needs to be. I love budgeting, and I love reviewing my budget because it really lets me realize all of these, I wouldn't call them mistakes, but just areas to improve on. And it lets me also celebrate all of my wins, which, come on, look at this. Look at all the green. I'm just so proud of all the green. It's so great. So I'm really looking forward to setting up our October budget. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're pretty much at the end. Thank you so much if you stayed and you watched this entire video. If you have, please let me know a couple of your money wins that happened this month. And please like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on your notification bell, support me in any way that you possibly can. I put down all the resources down below where I got the spreadsheet, as well as some additional resources I feel will be helpful for you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.